and welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing my November wrap-up and December TBR video. So I read 9 books in the month of November, which has been average for me, I guess. So I will get started with the books that I've read. The first book that I read was actually a reread for me, and that is Legend by Marie Lu. This is one of my all-time favorite books. I absolutely adore it. This book is about a futuristic dystopian society, and it features 2 protagonists, Day and June. Day is the Republic's most wanted criminal, and June is the Republic's prime prodigy. When Day is accused of killing June's brother, June goes after him, and June figures out that the Republic isn't exactly what it seems. 5 out of 5 stars, one of my all-time favorite books. I definitely recommend this series. The second book that I read is also in the Legend series, and that is Prodigy by Marie Lu. This is the second book in the series. I apologize if you hear my dog barking. And this is probably my least favorite book in the series. I really like it, and fair warning, this book has an extremely damaging cliffhanger ending. I cried for hours after this book was over. It was really sad. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars just because it's probably my least favorite book of the series. The next book that I read was the last book in the Legend series, and this is Champion by Marie Lu. I adored this book to pieces. It was amazing. I thought it really tied up the series really well. The ending was really sad, but I still thought it did the series justice. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I think I like this as much as Legend. I know some people haven't enjoyed it as much, but if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this book, I will link my review in the comments down below. The next book that I read is Allegiant by Veronica Roth, and this is the last book in the infamous Divergent series. A lot of people have had issues with this book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's noted for its awful, sad ending. I thought that the ending made sense. I thought it did the series justice. It just wasn't a very happy ending. I just thought that in this book you find out the reasons why the society is the way it is, and I just thought that it just didn't do the series justice. I give it 3 out of 5 stars. I would still recommend the series, though. It is fabulous. The next book that I read is also the end of a series, and that is Horde by Anna Guire. This is the third book in the... I can't remember the name of the series. I know the first book is Enclave. I think that this is a seriously underhyped dystopian series. This series follows Deuce, who is a huntress, and she has to kind of go out on her own and figure out what's up with the world, sort of. This is a very hard book to explain. It's a creepy series. It's really good. I give this book 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was nice, but it focused a lot on romance. There was just too much romance in this book for me to handle. But I would still recommend the series if you're looking for an interesting, different type of dystopian. And after Horde, I needed something to kind of cleanse my palate of the dystopian series, because I read 3 final books of a dystopian series in a row, and I was sick of dystopians. Next, I read How to Love by Katie Katubno, and I was really disappointed with this book. This book is about a girl named Rena, and it follows her relationship with a boy named Sawyer, and they are kind of going out in high school, but then Sawyer leaves and Rena finds out she's pregnant. And then it kind of goes back and forth between her point of view then and her point of view 3 years in the future when Sawyer returns. I thought that this was an interesting book. It's just the main character kept making a lot of really stupid decisions that bugged me. Like at the end, I thought she was going to make a good decision, and she just didn't. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. Not one of my favorite contemporaries. However, the next book was one of my favorite contemporaries, and that is Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. This book has been flying around BookTube recently, and this book is just amazing. It's about a girl named Kath who is a fan fiction writer, and she goes off to college. And she has a twin sister named Ren, and Ren kind of wants to go off on her own and do her own thing, so Kath is kind of left in the dust, and she has to kind of determine her place in the world and figure out how to balance college life and fan fiction. I adore this book. This is probably the cutest book I have ever read. I think a lot of people would like it. It involves some elements of Harry Potter, which I know some people like. I give this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I freaking adored it. Next, I read Opal by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the third book in the Lux series, which is a paranormal romance series about aliens. This isn't one of my favorite series, but it is extremely addicting. My main problem with the series is that the writing is really, really juvenile. Like, I could have written it better, but it's still addicting. I like this book. It focuses a lot more on the two main characters' romance, and I just thought it was a fun book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book in the series, Origin by Jennifer L. Armentrout, however, I had a lot of issues with. This book was just, it was so different from the rest of the series, and I felt like all the characters were just making stupid decisions. They weren't acting like themselves, and the ending had so many WTF moments. It makes me mad to just talk about it. I just put this book in the corner after I finish it. Not a good book. 2 out of 5 stars. I really hope that this last book in the series does it justice, because the series was about here, and now it just took a nosedive. No. So now I'm going to talk about the books that I plan on reading in December. I'm really not sure what I'm going to read in December, honestly. The last few months there's been a lot of new releases that have been coming out that I wanted to read. There's not really a lot of new releases that come out in December, and even though I have Christmas break, I tend to not read at all during break. I don't know why, I just get lazy. So I have currently 6 books on my TBR. They could change or stay the same. I'm honestly not sure at this point. The first book that I plan on reading is Perfect Ruin by Lauren DeStefano. This is a futuristic dystopian society about an island that floats over the sky, and everyone that lives on the island is forbidden to leave. I think I got maybe like 15 pages into this book. I love Lauren DeStefano's writing style, and I love dystopians, so hopefully this will turn out to be a good book. The next book I plan on reading is Ketchup Clouds by Annabelle Pitcher. This book, I believe, is about a girl who writes to a murderer on death row. I'm not really sure what it's about. I've heard mixed reviews about it. Kind of a toss-up, random book in there, but hopefully it's good. And kind of disclaimer before I say my next book, as I probably mentioned before, I am very into politics. I tend to have different viewpoints from most people, so if you don't like the book that I'm going to read, then oh well, I like it. And that is Good Tidings and Great Joy by Sarah Palin. Sarah Palin was the governor of Alaska. For those of you who don't know, she ran for the vice presidency in 2008 with John McCain. And I actually recently went to her book signing where I got this book autographed. I was fangirling the entire time, and I just wanted to read a Christmas book, and I have not read anything by her yet, so I'm interested to hear her viewpoints on Christmas. The next book that I plan on reading is actually a reread, and that is Just One Day by Gail Forman. This book is about a girl who is about to go off to college, and she goes on a class trip to Europe, and while there she meets a guy named Willem, and they spend a day together, and he ends up changing her life. I've read that book before. I don't know. I don't really think I enjoyed it, but I will plan on reading Just One Year this month, which is the second book in the duology, which follows Willem's POV, and I'm really excited to read it. I went to a Gail Forman signing last month, and she had a bunch of interesting things to say about this book. And the last book that I plan on reading in December is Emma by Jane Austen. I've started this before, and I just need to finish it because there's other classics that I need to read, and I'm currently really enjoying Emma Approved, so I need to finish that before that is over. So if you know anything about any of the books that I've mentioned, let me know in the comments down below. So thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you again soon.